Okay, I have here a Mystic electronic cigarette that I've converted into just a battery source for 3.7 volts and the charger for it, Mystic e-cigarette charger. I'm using this to power two different types of lit tip fishing poles. What I do is there's a battery protector in here. It had a sensor circuit for when you were puffing on the e-cigarette. I took that out and put a battery protector circuit in there for charging it and so on and so forth. But one of these fishing poles for nighttime lit tip fishing, it's got a metal end in here with positive negative that this screws right into. It's got a 820 ohm resistor in here, wires that come up to and affixed. I glued in a red LED. So this powers the red LED. That way I can fish and see into my pole at night without having to use a lantern. I don't like bugs flying all around the lantern, so I can take one of those hat flashlights, you click on to bait your hook or take the fish off your line and put him on your stringer. But anyway, all you got to do here to fire this up for nighttime fishing. Now this battery will run the red LED for 120 hours. So that's 12, that's a dozen times of 10-hour nights fishing. So screw that on and it fires up the light when it makes the contact. And you just slip that into your fishing rod here. It slips right into the end. There are other lighted fishing poles, and they generally have the battery and the switch and all that down in this part. It goes up in there and lights up stuff in there. This is just what I like about this is it's all right there and rechargeable is the main thing. I don't think anybody else has a rechargeable one. Okay, that's this one. The other type is a fiber optic. 820 ohm resistor. If you don't have that, it'll pop those LED lights. It'll just fry them. It's too much power for them. This is a 2mm fiber optic. I took one of the card misers here that was the part that had the liquid in it for puffing on it for the e-cigarette. Took it apart and I put the fiber optic in the light, and the resistor is all inside there, positive, negative. The battery screws into that and lights it, and that slips right inside of the end of the fishing rod. So there's your blue light, fiber optic, and this is a Jimmy Houston Cat Pro DX. Anyway, that slips right into the end of the rod here, comes out the end. This had a rubber plug in it. Take out that rubber plug, this is all hollow. And the only thing up in the other end was a little bit of paint. I had to dig that little bit of that paint out of the end so that the fiber optic push right down and out the end of the hole. So it sticks out there just a little bit. You can kind of push it back in a little further if you want, or stick it out. You don't want it to get wrapped up in your fishing line. So I usually put it about like right there. And then blue light, it lasts twice as long. The red light will only last 120 hours. This blue light uses less power. It'll run for 240 hours before you need to recharge the battery. So you could go 24 10-hour night fishing trips. There's quite a few weekends of fishing on just one battery charge. Then after that, charge it back up and you can go again, over and over again. So anyway, of course, this it's in there fairly secure. And that slips right in Jimmy Houston's Cat Hunter Pro DX. Which, by the way, I think is a pretty nice rod. So no more lanterns, sit there in the dark and you can see the end of that pole. If it moves just a little bit, boy, you see that. That's how I night catfish, with little headlights. So like I said, you know, then you need to see to bait your hook or put your fish on a stringer. Then you cast this back out, turn your light off, you're sitting there in the dark, and boy, can you see this thing like a sore thumb sticking out. Okay, and this all slipped right back out. So this could be like a kit. These fiber optics come in different thicknesses. So these could be made. You can get even smaller batteries. You can make this as a kit where they buy this. Then all they got to do is remove the rubber plug. It's glued in, so you got to kind of dig it out a little bit. Take out the paint out of the end of it. Make sure that whatever size hole you got up there and here, you know, that everything will fit in there. Then it just, like I said, it slips right back together. And then, of course, once again, when you're done fishing for the night, you unscrew the battery and it turns it off. Got a little plastic container that holds this, keeps it watertight. Keep that in your tackle box. So you can just keep this in there till you're ready to night fish and slip it in your rod and you're ready to go. You can leave it in there too if you want to. Just leave it in there and just slide it out, take the battery out. If I can get it in there. So you can just leave that fiber optic part in there and just slip this out, take your battery out, put that back in, and just leave this in there. Okay, that's it. Lick tip fishing pole, 2 different types. Over and out.